Welcome back to another episode of the Not Scrum Dumb podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about imposter syndrome. This comes up a lot, especially for people that are first time Scrum Masters, first year. They're really struggling. They're trying to understand, how do I actually get better? This was a question that came up in our PSM1 class. And so we wanted to bring it to you and talk about it. How do you overcome imposter syndrome when you first become a Scrum Master? Scott, do you want to kick us off for this one?
Absolutely, Andriana. Imposter syndrome. I kind of knew what that was. I didn't really think about that when I was studying. I was making a transition from project management into Scrum. Tired of project management, looking for a way out. So I was already studying 4 hours a day. I'm getting certified. I wrote down in December that year that I'm going to be a Scrum Master in 6 months. Practicing, I'm watching all kinds of videos. I'm reading books. I'm reading my Scrum guide every day, and I'm doing everything I could possibly do, but when I started my first job in June, 6 months from when I wrote it down, the first 2 days, I began to feel weird. I felt like a fake. So after 6 months and at least 4 hours of studying, I got my PMI ACP, I got my CSM. I've been practicing daily. And I'm 2 days on a brand new job in this environment, realizing my goals and objectives. And here I am feeling like an imposter. The reason I was feeling like an imposter is because I came from a work environment where I was used to working from the time I got to work to the time I got off. And if I got the luxury to have a lunch, I will have to eat my lunch quick, quick, fast, fast, because I know somebody's getting ready to come and ask me a question. Since I was the project manager of the project, yeah. And even in the evenings, I had work to do because I got interrupted so much throughout the day. So now I'm in this world called Scrum and Agile. I'm a Scrum Master at my first contract. So much time on my hands. I'm reading at work. Most of these books you see behind me, I read when I was going face to face at work. But yet, I'm feeling like an imposter. Andriana and everybody else, it really hit me when I got that first check. When I got my first check and I looked at the number on that check and I reflected back in my mind on the work I did to get that check, and I felt like I was robbing somebody. That first check is a check. I went to the bank and I had a hard copy check. I'm normally not nervous when I go into a bank, but this particular day, I go inside, I go to the cashier, I give her this here paper check to cash it, and my hand is kind of like shaking. Why? Because I'm thinking in my mind, this can't be real. This is gonna bounce. And the lady said, "Mr. Adams, may I help you?" I said, "Yeah, I would like to deposit this check." I'm sure my voice was squeaking, not like it is now, squeaking. She processed the check and she said, "Mr. Adams, anything else I can do for you today?" I said, "Oh, can you give me the chit slip?" "Oh, you want a receipt?" "Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah." Because I'm like, I want to verify this is real. All that imposter syndrome going on. For me, that's what it was. Andriana, what about you? What was it for you?
Every new thing I start, I'm like, am I actually good at this? Do I actually know? It is something that ends in certain areas. I feel like if you're the type of person that's constantly trying to get better and constantly trying to grow, once you master something, you kind of get bored with it. So you go to the next thing and then you start off at ground level and you feel like you suck compared to everyone else, which is imposter syndrome. You feel like you have that self doubt, especially around like certain individuals. But that's just a part of growing in life. I think it's really about how you value yourself and what kind of conscious behavior you want to have. I know that there are certain things that I'm not as good as a senior engineer on my team. And it's just understanding that person's been doing it a lot longer. That's why they're good at it. But I have certain traits, characteristics, skills, and values that are valuable and they bring something to the table every single day. To go into a little bit of how you can potentially overcome it. They do say that there are like the four P's of imposter syndrome. There's perfectionism, paralysis, people pleasing, and procrastination. The first thing you have to do is identify which one of those are you? Are you the perfectionist? Which, by the way, I read this book. I can't remember the title. Sorry, everyone. I can't remember the title of the book, but the book talked about how you can't be a perfectionist if you don't complete something, if you don't put something out there. Because how can you make something perfect that you're never finishing? You have to do a finished product and then make it better to become a perfectionist. That's what making it perfect is. And a lot of times it ends up perfectionist people end up in the paralysis state. They never end up getting anything done. So understand, which one are you? Is it the words of people that are stopping you? That can be the start. Once you recognize that trait in yourself, then you can actually start to work on it. So it's really hard to give you like one pinpoint answer because we don't know which four you are. I will say, for me, I think I have a little bit of procrastination, a little bit of perfectionism, which I think I've gotten over the perfectionist part. I mentally am at a place where I think the same way I tell my teams to think. Not to put out crap, but put out something of quality as a first iteration and then keep making it better. I've done a few courses and things like that where I put it out, give it for free, and I'm like, hey, give me your feedback. That's all I want from you. And then I went and I made a second iteration of it. Give me your feedbacks. That's how you get better putting something out there. I think you really do have to let go of whatever part that you have in this. I think you have to first understand what role do you have in this and then how to overcome that. It really is about understanding what value that you bring. So, some other things that I think can potentially help is, what are the actual facts? This is about how you're feeling. You have that feeling of self doubt. You have that feeling that you're a fraud. Are you? Is that an actual fact? Do other people see you that way? Is why do you see yourself that way? Talk to someone, share your feelings, make sure that you celebrate your successes. And as a scrum master, the hard part is our team, their success is our success. So celebrate those successes and understand this is where you're actually bringing some value. And then even share some of your failures, be transparent, and then let it go. Anything else to add?
Yeah, all beautiful things, Andriana. The last thing I would say is notice, audience, that my imposter syndrome came from me being very busy to not being as busy. Andriana imposter syndrome went from she just loves to continuously improve, not comparing herself to anyone else, but just her own. Look, hey, I just want to be better. I want to be better. We all want to be better. Remember, I was studying 4 hours a day. Now, to me, the worst imposter syndrome one could feel is because you don't know the material and you're not doing anything about it. Now, to me, that's the worst imposter syndrome. And if you're feeling that, as Andriana identified, be self-aware about yourself. Okay, yeah, I know during the pandemic, a lot of people just took the certification and got a job, became a part of the six-digit club, making $100,000 just off getting a certification. But now what? A lot of the scrum masters getting laid off. The great scrum masters, the good scrum masters, the ones that know what they're doing, they never ever have a problem. Because we always are learning, we always improving our skills, we always are elevating our scrum game so that we can stay on the top of our game. I don't feel imposter syndrome anymore, but I do see it in my scrum master, and I just grab them by the wing and say, look, that's a normal feeling in this environment. I don't care how much studying you did, you will feel it, fake, fact, or fiction. You will feel imposter syndrome in this space for whatever various reasons. All I'm saying is make sure it's not because you don't know the information and you can't do the job. If you can't, then you need to work on your skill set to get up to speed real quick, fast, and in a hurry. So nothing wrong with that. But it is something wrong with it if you that person and that's not ethical.
There's a lot in the accountability of a scrum master. You're not going to be a 10 out of 10 for everything. No one is. I don't care how long they've been doing it. I don't believe I'm a every single area being a scrum master. I've hit perfection, but I also understand that's okay. There are certain people that are really great at things that I'm not great at. And so maybe in the past I did compare myself. And so that's where some of the imposter syndrome came from. But once you let that go, it's really freeing and you can cash your checks guilt free.
Direct deposit now.
I still look to make sure the amount's right.
I still trust, but verify. Exactly.
All right. Thanks for watching to the end of this video. If you made it to the end, then you have an attention span greater than a goldfish.
Be legendary, everyone, but not Scrum Dumb. Check out another episode so that you won't be Scrum Dumb. See you next week.